Why concern yourself with this? We can outlast the mortals.
Perhaps. But the chaos still threatens us. What do you see, mortal? A Dremora shell on the ground? What does that matter? We don't die after all. Could bring chaos. Disrupt the town's stability. Someone knew this and sent Tephilaz back to oblivion. I need to know who. You can help. Wretched Spire hides Daedra. Can't get summoned while here. We like that. But mortals want us gone. That won't happen. Tephilaz seeks a treaty. Removing him delays that. The mortals may try to purge Daedra in his absence. If so, they'll die. We know not the source of the Spire's protection. Any change might end it, including mortal deaths. You are mortal. Save your people. Speak to them so I can find the one who seeks violence. If lives do not concern you, I can provide mortal coin. Several mortals stand about gawking. Two will tell what they saw. Zara speaks freely to anyone, and Tarvin on the hill, allied to Daedra. I'll take Tephilaz's shell to a necrologist in the Daedric area. Meet me there with what you learn. The Daedra of Wretched Spire prefer our unbound status. No masters, no summoners. We will stay under the protection this area provides, at any cost. Tephilaz spoke for us with the city's leaders. Treaty negotiations, influence over city operations. Very smart that you recognize this. My answer is unsatisfying. Daedra do not want to change anything about Wretched Spire. The protection source remains unclear. The Spire? The people? Until we understand more, all must stay the same. Solitude. The constant disruptions of our existence by mortals anger us. An agreement would ensure we are left alone. You should understand. The mortals believe they allow us to stay. They cannot conceive that we allow them to live. A researcher specializes in the empty shells Daedra leave behind. Their composition uses alchemy and magic to reveal secrets. He doesn't speak in the mortal tongue often, may confuse you. I'll need to interpret for him. A complicated place, even for a mortal town. It exists as a boil in the Deadlands. An infection that Mehrunes Dagon knows exists, but cannot heal. It goes unwitnessed, to my benefit. Did Mehrunes Dagon's arrival on your plane go unnoticed? Was his tearing a city from its roots a common event on Nirn? I have never been there, so I do not know. A mortal summoned the prince. He ripped up the spire and flung it here. Good question. No one can say. I hear many theories, protected by a different prince, saved for later. Dagon thinks it's funny. Nothing certain. Without an answer, we must maintain stasis. Nothing can change, otherwise Dagon may take notice. I refuse to have a master. I reject clans. No prince compels my allegiance while I stand within these walls. This arrangement suits me. When Tephilaz began negotiations with the mortals, I offered him protection. As you can see, I failed. Tephilaz makes his own choices. He is unbound just as I am. If he wishes to walk without me, then so be it. I would not stop him, though obviously it was foolish. Limited mortal philosophy. Can he force me to kill you if I did not wish? No. Can he embed thoughts in my mind, forcing me to worship him? No. Can he bring me to another plane against my will? Again? No. He is no master, only a useful tool. The Daedra of Wretched Spire prefer our unbound status.
Noroth focuses too much on the mortals' whims. He adheres to the belief that we cannot wipe them out without disrupting our protection from summoning. But they will die soon enough. Protecting them means nothing. If it ends now or later, who cares? Truly, I find Noroth's reliance on a mortal grotesque. I have nothing useful to offer you. I came upon Tephilaz twitching and seizing on the ground as though filled with insects. A shame it ended so quickly. It was quite amusing.
I saw you over there talking to Noroth, just like I watched you come into town for the first time. Nothing goes on around here without Rodzara noticing. Want to know what happened to that Dremora dead on the ground? How could I miss it? One moment he's walking along, the next he falls to the ground. His body shook a little, then nothing. I thought only a blade to the chest could kill them. Not that I care. You'll find no love for those things in my heart. No, not a soul. Neither person nor creature around him when it happened. But he was coming from the Spire and going toward where the Daedra stay. Probably getting up to foul business. You know how they are. I keep my eyes on them. Seems to me that we should have handled it long ago. Daedra aren't meant to live among us. They have everywhere else they can go. Why do they insist on staying where I'm forced to see their strange ways? I say, gather everyone and kick them out.
Greetings, stranger. Is this about Tephilaz's death? Or I suppose, not death. The Daedra tell me that is not really how it works for them. I imagine he will come back eventually. Do you know Noroth? The two of you spoke for some time, I saw. Again, not death. Displacement? The proper word for their unique situation eludes me. To answer your inquiry, no, I did not see what occurred. I was actually headed into the Daedric district to meet with Tephilaz when I stumbled on the scene. Tephilaz and I are friendly. As much as any Dremora has friends. I helped him gain the trust of the city council to begin treaty discussions. He just met with my father, Farvin, leader of the council. I wanted to know how the negotiations went.
You're here. Ritual starts soon. Tell me what you learned.
Agree. Remnant speaks to artifacts.
I mentioned a necrologist. Mixotet's the one. If the shell holds clues, he can find them. His ritual requires your aid. I promised you would give it. First, tell me what you learned. Did the mortals see what happened? Magic from a distance, then. I saw no scorching from fire. Cursed object, maybe? No. Pockets were empty. Let's hope Mixotet reveals more. Why did he leave the Daedric area? He preferred not to upset the mortals. Makes sense. Would Farvin attack him? Maybe. He resents all Daedra, but how? And why the delay? Still too many questions. Don't like it. Help Mixotet with the ritual. Claims the magic needs mortal hands. Promised me it won't hurt you. By smoke and light, Mixotet will call for a reagent. Find it, throw it on the ashes. He will explain what he sees. I will translate for you. His speaking needs practice. Start with the dead Bainkin. We can go from there.
Remnant inside flames. Infinite thirst for prepared interest proposal. Turned advice sets vanity in neutral. Misery wisdom arises to the spirit stream. Fragile tendrils allow connections to foregone, and until now, your efforts become necessary. Salvage physicality. Triangles examine interior hollows. Broken soul, limited cycle, grounded. No more understanding. Ancient folding across rivers. The tract yet written beyond his general. Forfeit linear pointed strangers. Recommended blush of new. Floating beneath and above into similar plateaus. At juncture perform exaltation. Discreet. Secrets whisper. Explore the soul. Pathways withered, flew after darkness.
The brain decayed rapidly, forced the vestige from the shell. The urn dust next.
Burning dust, boiling land. River source, haunt the chest. All dancing in river, fade the marrow.
Poison flooded the shell, but from what? Last, the blue
Shattered sky, ecstatic bloom. Abdomen exploration in our trails. Ah, charred reveal.
poison beneath the skin. The entry point. We must talk.
Lighted stump brings strange ichor. Northwest.
Curious. A poison that affects Daedra. This is new to me. We know more now. Not a random attack from a hater of Daedra. Someone able to apply this to Tephilaz. Got close. This was planned. First, I need this substance. Not to use, to examine. And maybe to use. Depends on how events progress. Mixotet says he knows of it. On a fallen tree to the northwest. I would like you to collect some. Too dangerous for me. I will ask around about this poison. See if someone peddles it. Perhaps someone moving for power. Then I'll visit the last person Tephilaz spoke to. Faven Indoril. Meet me in the Spire, center of town. Unlikely he reveals much without you there. Arrived when the Spire fell. Mehrunes Dagon flung him here. Hates Daedra now. Understandable. Leads the Mortals Council. Opposes Daedra residents. Possible suspect. Tephilaz explained the situation. We will not leave. If the mortals attempt to force us, they will die. Simple. Our existence can remain adversarial. Knives forever at our throats. Tension makes existence a burden, inefficient. Or it can be beneficial. They provide a seat on the council. We offer protection from the Deadlands' many threats. Do not pursue this, Favin. It will fail.
Daedra don't belong here. This was once sacred ground.
Father, please, just hear Noroth out.
This conversation goes as expected. Favin has a simple mind. Surprised Tephilaz hasn't killed him yet. The blighted tree, did you find it? A sample of poison may help us identify our target. Well done. Beginning to understand why mortals summon Mainkin. Very useful to have an assistant. A curious substance. If we find anyone else with it, we may have our target. Speak to Favin. You're immortal. He may respond better to you. Ask about his conversation with Tephilaz. Get a sense of his plans. Important we delay a purge, at least until Tephilaz returns.
Another stray piece of refuse has stumbled into our town, I see. At least you're not a scamp or some other horrid creature. Well, welcome to Wretched Spire, apparent home to all of the Deadlands cast-offs. Why have you come? Now, you can't really kill those things, can you? They just keep coming back whether you want them here or not. But yes, I hear about everything that happens in Wretched Spire. Odd, I just spoke with him. Have you learned how he was killed? What? You're investigating the death of a Dremora? Why bother? That creature will be back in a matter of days. He came to push for the damn treaty of his. Wishes me to allow Daedra to reside here permanently. I refuse to allow it. No idea. However, Tephilaz seemed occupied with looking into a recent arrival to Wretched Spire. A shady character named Vontan. If you're so interested, talk to that scoundrel. He squats over with the other dangerous trash in the flea pits. Why? Do you know how I arrived in the Deadlands? Why I'm likely forced to live out my days surrounded by blight and storm? Are you so ignorant of the very place where you stand? Mehrunes fetching Dagon flung me here with half the city. Peace, fair. Daedra are single-minded creatures. They only strive for what their essence tells them to seek. They don't want peace with us. They only see a truce as a means to an end. What that end is remains mysterious, so they shall have no treaty. Favin of House Indril, though I don't know if that matters so much anymore. I lead this cast-off of a town. The task was much easier when we arrived. We were mostly Dunmer. They knew their place. Now, it's an assortment of adrift refuse. I came with the Spire, crashed down after being ripped from my beloved Mournhold and flung into oblivion. Never really understood how I, or any of us, survived. But I stopped thinking about it. Newcomers tell me it was more than 600 years ago on Nirn. Only a few decades have passed for me. I can still remember the feeling of my stomach dropping as we lifted into the air. Time flows differently in Oblivion's embrace. Tarvin, yes. He introduced Tephilaz to me. A good son, but one who needs to learn his history. He was born here and never saw Mournhold. He doesn't understand what the Daedra truly are. I hope that he never needs to. Not enough, unfortunately. He appeared recently skulking around, trying to avoid being seen by decent people. He lives over in the flea pits, where we relegate those who won't stay civil. I should really clear out the flea pits. Why? Do you know how I arrived in the Deadlands?
What do you want? They're coming for us. If it helps, I'm scared too.
You need to tell them. Oh, damn. It hurts.
Regrets, I was detained. Did you find Vontan? What did you learn? Dead. Another murder? And this time, a mortal. So, the trail ends here. Waking Flame? The mortal followers of Mehrunes Dagon? Here? Could they seek to disrupt our protections? We must speak to Faven. He needs to know about this threat, and then we must purge the cult before they endanger our sanctity. Faven must know what you learned. I refuse to allow my protection to fall, and I doubt you want to see the mortals here endangered by this cult. We must return to Spire Hall. First thought, someone in town is secretly a member of this Order of the Waking Flame, and possibly someone who Tephilaz was in contact with. Otherwise, they would not have gotten close enough to administer the poison. Perhaps, but I think it unlikely. Fathin protects the town, claims it as his domain, would never allow outsiders to take over. The mortal holds too much pride. And he hates Mehrunes Dagon. No sense to it. Not yet, but in time. These type of runes, not my specialty. Also, I am cut off from a great deal of knowledge. The price of freedom. Bother? You mean anger? Upset? These aren't experiences that I have. My moods are set, fixed. I am, who I will always be. Even my search for freedom from mastery is eternal. Living here, just a temporary success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fathin now? Things spiral out of control. So he decided to act against the Daedra. We should destroy that note. Once again, no struggle. Fathin planned to attack Daedra, attempt to push us out. And it would have failed. The mortals don't have the numbers, the strength. And we would just keep coming. Won't happen now, but we needed him to remove the waking flame. No leadership now. Yes, they refer to a location, a kind of encrypted map, but also a key. The waking flame's nearby camp indicates the cultists are about to make their move. I will try to rally the town, but I need you to go to the camp. Do what you can to stop them. The inscriptions describe an entrance to the southwest. It may be hidden, well guarded, but you seem capable. Find what you can that explains these events. Do your best to hinder the cult. I will seek to rally the town's residents, all of them.
Don't like your odds.
Now!
I did what I must! My own father! I believed your lies!
They found us! Let the fires rise up!
Grab him!
I'm rightful.
I wasn't worried. Were you worried?
You! I'm sorry! Leave me alone! I did what I thought was right!
You're chasing Tarvin? He ran toward the east.
Are you looking for Tarvin? Oh, he ran up the hill.
You chased Tarvin, mortal. Very well. I shall follow.
Don't you understand? I was helping them. The Daedra deserve a home. So, you figured it out. You know I killed them. Tephilaz, Vontan, even my father. But you don't understand. How could you? The Daedra deserve their freedom. They're beings with souls, just like you and I. And we should protect them. Welcome them. I always fought for the Daedra. They just want a home. They belong here as much as we do. That group, they said they would help. Mortals on the side of Daedra, they said that if I poisoned Tephilaz, it would spur the Daedra to action. Tephilaz will be back. But then you showed up. I had to kill Vontan to protect myself, and my father wrote that decree. It would have been a war. The mortals, we would have all died. I couldn't let that happen. I didn't want to kill him, but I had to. I know. I've done horrible things. How do I even begin to atone? But I'll go. No more running.
A confession. Good. Makes things easy. Tarvin, undermining our safety. Didn't see that possibility. I don't understand his thinking. Why help us? Why invite danger into his home? Mortal reasoning doesn't follow an obvious path. Daedra don't need help. Why fight for us? I thought mortals valued their own kind. I will take him back to town. We need to stabilize it. Make it the same as it was. Nothing must threaten my protection. You completed the task. Here's the payment. 2 mortals dead. Tephilaz displaced. Tarvin racked by guilt and shame. Too much disruption to the status quo. You did well. I do not believe in bindings. If I did, I would choose you. Mortal capability at its best. My wish? Wretched Spire stays the same. Nothing changes. Nothing disrupted. Whatever power provides the protection for Daedra remains in place. We cannot bring back the mortals. A complication, then. But I will work to fix that. His father was leader. To keep the status quo, Tarvin must take up the position. My people will not care, and we can appease any mortals who speak out. Tarvin will see the wisdom and agree in time. Manipulable, that one.